The next one says, find all the complex solutions of my quadratic formula. I'm still going to use the quadratic formula. When it says that you're going to find complex solutions, those are the ones with the imaginary numbers that we did the other day. We're going to have something like the square root of negative 37, and we're going to put an I in the place of the negative. So, find the complex solutions. If it says that, you're still going to use the quadratic formula, just like we did on the previous problems. So on number 4, is that the same numbers? 3, 3, and negative 7. It's the same as the other one. Well, let's make that something else so that it comes up to a different answer. I'm going to make that, let's say 2, negative 3, and we'll leave the 7. There, let's use that. Now I got to write my quadratic formula down again. B squared minus 4AC over 2A. So in this case, A is going to be 2. B is going to be negative 3, and C is going to be negative 7. So when I plug that into my quadratic formula, I have to do minus the B value, so minus a negative 3, right? Plus or minus the B value, which was negative 3 squared. And I'm going to take minus 4 times the A value times the C value. So minus 4 times the A value, which is 2, times the C value, which is negative 7. Over, I better do the bottom part of that, 2 times the A value, 2 times 2, going to give me 4. So simplifying that, if I have minus a negative 3, it's going to be positive 3, right? You already got to the negative 3 squared. Negative 3 squared is 9. Then we have negative 4 times 2 times negative 7. 56. All over 2 times 2, which is 4. So we're going to get 3 plus or minus the square root of 67, right? Over 4. I didn't add that right, did I? That's 65. 65, how about I learn to add? I'm already thinking ahead. So again on that one, comes out normal, and some of them will come out normal. I'm just going to do my 2 separate answers. 3 plus the square root of 65 over 4, and 3 minus the square root of 65 over 4. Let's push that in there. All right, if we try the next one then. Find the complex solutions tells me I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So the A value is going to be 4, the B value is 5, and the C value is 2. So plugging that into my quadratic formula, minus the B value. The B value is 5. Plus or minus the square root of the B value, which is 5 squared, right? Then minus 4 times the A value times the C value. So minus 4 times the A value, which is 4, times the C value, which is 2. all over 2 times the a value, so I'm going to have 2 times 4. So simplifying that, we're going to get -5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 32 all over 8. And so we have to do 25 minus 32, so we're going to get 5 plus or minus the square root of 7 over 8. Now, this one, notice there's a negative under your square root. The other day we talked about imaginary numbers. If there's a negative under the square root, we're going to put an I in front of our square root. So we're going to have -5 plus or minus I square root of 7 over 8. The square root of a -1 is equal to the imaginary number I. Otherwise, normally we have to say, well, that's a no solution. I can't do the square root of a negative. But some guy named Euler thought it'd be really fun if I could make it into an imaginary number. So I did. So again, I'm going to have 2 answers. -5 plus I square root of 7 over 8. And -5 minus I square root of 7 over 8. So on the complex solutions, sometimes they'll come out the normal way, but sometimes they come out with a negative under the square root where you've got to put the I in front of your square root then. So number 6, still going to practice the quadratic formula some more. So on this one, A is going to be 2, B is
X or 6.
What's the coefficient of your B? What number's in front of that?
1.
-1. B is going to be -1x, right? And then C is going to be 6. So keep in mind, if I just have a negative x or a positive x, there's a 1 in front of there. So plugging that into my quadratic formula, what should I write down?
Negative, parentheses, -1.
Exactly.
Plus, oh, yeah.
Plus or minus the square root of?
Two squared.
Which one is squared?
1. -1.
The -1. So -1 squared. Then I'm going to have
4 minus
4 times
2
2 times
6.
6 all over
All over
2 times the A value, so 2 times 2, right?
Is it always going to be like that?
Yep.
Okay.
All over 2A, so 2 times 2. Simplifying that. If I have minus a -1, it's going to become +1. Plus or minus the square root of, what am I going to get under my square root?
1
1
minus 4 minus 8.
keep multiplying,
Oh, minus
minus 48. 4 times 2 times 6. Over 4. So I get 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 47 over 4. And if there's a negative under the square root, how am I going to rewrite it?
Plus or minus I.
1 plus or minus I times the square root of 47 over 4. So of course we have to put it in as 1 plus I square root of 47 over 4 and 1 minus I square root of 47 over 4. So you'll have ones that tell you use the quadratic formula straight out, some that say find the complex solutions, which still means find the quadratic formula, but sometimes you end up with that imaginary number in there.